What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Today, I want to talk about Ohio State. I want to talk about Alabama. I want to talk about the NFL draft. I want to talk about the combine list. And doing this a little bit differently. Some of y'all are listening on Twitter Spaces. Wanted to see how this is going to work because some of y'all are on Clubhouse. Some of y'all are not. And I always really loved sports talk radio. Right? It's one of the ways in which I came up. It's one of the ways I got into this. And when we talk about what we could do with live audio, I'm going to be passionate about those things. I love podcasts. I love having the channel. I love being able to do this whenever I feel like doing it. So we'll see how this goes and see how much you like it. But one of the things I thought was interesting was to see the NFL Combine list come out. One of the first things that we do is count up how many players from respective schools have been invited. And this scouting combine is unlike any other that we have seen because there ain't really gonna be one. Not in the traditional sense of having one where 300 plus athletes are invited to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis to go through the meat judging. That is, hey, get down to your skivvies. Let's get your height. Let's get your weight. Let's get your wingspan. Let's get your hand span. Let's make sure that you are every bit of the Saiyan that you expect to be in the NFL. Let's see if we can get you from that level of Goku to perhaps Vegeta. And for those of y'all that don't know, like, I'm a Vegeta stan. Okay, that's who I am. I'm the dude that you call me up, you're like, your whole family been blown up. And I'd be like, appreciate you. Moving on, right? Some of y'all be Piccolo over here, and I can't really get down with y'all Piccolo fam over here because I don't know what to do with y'all Piccolo fam over here. Anyway, Ohio State leading the number of invitees with 14. We'll get into that in a little bit. Alabama coming in second with 11. Georgia also has 11. Notre Dame also has 11. And Florida also has 9. So what do we glean from this? Well, all 5 of those teams were in the running for the college football playoff in 2020. And 3 of those teams played in the college football playoff in 2020, right? Now, Alabama, 13-0, ran roughshod over Ohio State in the national championship game, but Ohio State just getting there after starting their season in November is nothing to, like, sneeze at. Georgia continues to recruit with everybody, right? Like, that's the thing. We're so fascinated with Georgia because it feels like they should have won 3 national championships here in the last 15 years. And they're the only team to unseat Alabama with the number 1 ranked class in any year basically the last 10 of the Nick Saban era. 2 recruiting national championships for Georgia. Notre Dame, the 4th team into the college football playoff last year, the team that we all said was going to get ran down and then got ran down, still gets 11 invitees. And then, of course, Florida with 9. One of the things that I take away from this is you have to have so many NFL draft picks on your roster just to make it to the college football playoff. Like, that's the first thing that we take away from this. You have to be so good 1 through 85 that it's not even funny. Like, Cincinnati ain't on this list, right? Oklahoma ain't on this list. Clemson, who made the playoff, ain't on this list. Now, some of that has to do with you have classes that are heavier with 4 or 5 star recruits that develop better at different rates. And some of that is just, frankly, you're just not recruiting with the rest of the country, right? Like, LSU's not on the list, but they will be back on this list. Last year, they tied the record basically in the modern draft era for the most number of players drafted in the 3-day event with 14, right? Ohio State also did that in 2004. So this ain't new for them to have 14 dudes eligible for getting drafted, but we'll go through and see which one of those guys we expect to be drafted. And then Texas is probably going to hold on to the number 1 spot for the most players drafted in any draft because, well, we had more rounds than they had 17 players drafted in 1984. So going through each one of these, I think, is really interesting and one of the things that I love to do when we talk about these lists. So let's go one by one with Ohio State to start. You got Tuff Borland, Baron Browning, 2 linebackers, right? You got a punter invited to the NFL draft in Drew Chrisman. Like, what? Okay, we're inviting punters. I like it. Jonathan Cooper, Captain America over there, right? The dude that came back, like red-shirted, going into the playoff, just so he could come back and have a shot at a national championship. And then he and Justin Fields were able to lead that squad to a national championship berth. Of course, again, they got just ran down by Alabama. Wyatt Davis, who I think could be the first guard taken off the board, also in there. I think he's really an outstanding player, and I don't know why y'all are still just down on Dwayne Davis's kid. Anybody whose daddy was Featherstone and Alvin Mack can get you to smack, all right? You can get beat down, all right? That man is going to make some money. I'm talking some currency. I'm talking about there go the man. And then we got Tommy Doyle. That Tommy Doyle is from Miami of Ohio. Luke Farrell, Ohio State tight end, like Jeremy Ruckert. Throw that man some passes next year. We saw that man show out against Clemson. Justin Fields, of course, for me, the number 1 quarterback on the board. For y'all, the number 2 quarterback on the board. Some of y'all, number 3. We get in that another time and day. Blake Heibel. What? We got kickers. We got 2 specialists from Ohio State of these 14 going to the NFL draft combine. Justin Hilliard, Ohio State linebacker that I think is going to have a long career in the NFL. Just a special teams dynamo. The kind of talent that just was so injury plagued throughout his career that I can't wait to see what it looks like when the man gets to be the man. Of course, Josh Myers, center at Ohio State, he's also going. Trey Sermon, the grad transfer from Oklahoma. The thing that people forget about Trey Sermon is the man played in the college football playoff every single year. Every single year, he was there. He was there with Oklahoma for 3 consecutive years, and then again with Ohio State at a time when people were like, yo, I don't know that Trey Sermon is the dude, RJ. I thought you told us that this dude was the dude, RJ. And I said, give the preacher man some time. The preacher man go give you this word, okay? The preacher man made like the Old Testament against Northwestern. Go ahead and ask him about him in the Big Ten championship game. The single game rushing record, that's Trey Sermon's now. That belonged to the preacher man, okay? Then 193 yards rushing against Clemson. Like, the man was on 11, like over 500 yards rushing in 2 games. Hell out of here, man. I love the preacher man. Tommy Togiai going to the NFL. I think that dude is going to be sneaky good too. Somebody's going to get themselves a great inside defensive lineman. DI, I think is the term in vogue. Shaun Wade, cornerback is what he's going in as. He's a slot corner. We learned that about him in 2020. Don't put that man on the numbers. Put that man in the middle of the field. It's actually kind of weird in that slot corner is usually a more difficult position to play than traditional cornerback because you got to know your leverages and you don't have the boundary to help you as an extra defender, right? But for whatever reason, Shaun Wade looked better at slot corner than he did at cornerback, even as he was on my Paycom Jim Thorpe Award ballot as the 3rd option because, like, when they needed a pick, and if they didn't get that pick 6 against Indiana, we might be talking about Indiana being in the Big Ten championship game. We might be talking about the Big Ten not having a representative in the college football playoff last year. Pete Werner coming out of like Pete Werner feels like he's a dude that had been playing at Ohio State for like 6 years. So you got 4 linebackers for Ohio State in this draft. You got your quarterback, you got your running back. Here's the thing, not a single wide receiver. 2 specialists, not a single wide receiver. That is how good they are going to be at wideout in 2021 up there at Columbus. Let's take a look at Alabama right quick because, my goodness, Christian Barmore making that into what I think of as defensive tackle U over there at Alabama. More about that a little bit later because I got a list coming out on CFB on Fox, the Twitter account. Give it a follow on the Instagram, on the IGs, and you will see that I have some opinions about Recruit U. We will talk about it here. Because I seen your jokes, I seen your tweets, I seen your retweets, I seen your quote tweets, I seen your replies, okay? And you know what? Some of y'all can't build an argument. Some of y'all want to come in here with your opinions, dunking on my opinions by just what? Your feelings? I don't care about your feelings. Give me the facts, fam. Give me the facts, okay? Give me the FAX, okay? I'm going to start dropping that is it not facts annoying dude on y'all with these sounds, all right? Anyway, moving on. Deontay Brown, who is all that is man. That dude is enormous. My God, playing offensive guard. And then we got Landon Dickerson, who is the best center in this draft. I mean, Remington Award winner. The dude lobbied Nick Saban to get on the field in the national championship game as clocks winded down, knowing good and well he shouldn't have been out there and he could have got hurt. But I like it. I like the hustle. Thomas Fletcher, wow. There you go. The long snapper. Alabama got a long snapper into the NFL scouting combine. That's awesome. Najee Harris, yeah, we know. RB1. That man is a man among men. Mac Jones. McCorkle Jones. All right, so I made an upload earlier on Thursday morning, 11 a.m. my time, about Mac Jones, comparing him to Tua Tagovailoa, and there's a little bit of a reason as to why you should probably, give Mac Jones a second look. If that dude drops to like the second, third, fourth round, I would not be surprised, okay? I would not be surprised. Go check that out. Alex Leatherwood, best offensive tackle in this draft for me. I know that there's some folks that are swearing by Penei Sewell. I know there are other folks that are swearing by Rashawn Slater, even though I think of Rashawn Slater more as a guard. And he's catching all sorts of love from the likes of Daniel Jeremiah, Joel Klatt, and whatnot. I still think the dude's a little too short in the arms and in height to be playing out there on left tackle, but maybe right tackle. Just depends on system and scheme. And then we got Dylan Moses at linebacker, a dude that came back after blowing out an ACL, who I thought was going to have a tremendous year when really it was Christian Harris that was like showing out. And now they're going to be monsters next year. Like, I'm so excited about Alabama's defense with Malachi Moore coming back. And my goodness, dude, like, you can have some hitters out there at corner, like Josh Jobe coming back, so forth, so on. We'll see if Carl Scott going to the NFL has anything to do to change them, but Jay Valai is that dude. Devontae Smith, for many people, wide receiver 1. Some folks got Jamar Chase there. As long as you take one of these dudes in the first round, I'm fine with it, right? Devontae gives you a lot. I think Jalen Waddle gives you more. He's my WR1. Patrick Surtain, the second. If that dude is as good as his daddy, you talking about an all-pro, you talking about a pro bowler, you talking about a man among men, okay? You talking about shut down corner. You talking about the dude that you look over there and you say, oh, is that Pat Surtain the second? Yeah, so we not throwing to that side all the rest of the day, which is exactly what Brian Kelly did with Notre Dame, and they still couldn't do nothing, right? That is the ultimate compliment as a cornerback. If you are the kind of cat that head coaches go to their quarterback and say, hey, yo, look here. When you see Pat Surtain, okay, you decide we're not throwing over there. That's a no-fly zone for us, okay? We don't win those matchups. Man, I want that dude on my team, all right? Jalen Waddle, you know what it is. You know how much I like to why strut when you can waddle, all right? I'm here for it. And then I want to get into a little bit of what Georgia is putting into this, because I think there's a lot of dudes that are that are coming out of Georgia that we just kind of slept on. Tyson Campbell, great cornerback prospect. Ben Cleveland, great offensive guard prospect. DJ Daniel, man, look, Presley Harvin, a punter at Georgia Tech. Oh my God. We got Malik Eric coming out, Trey Hill. I think it was a deep center draft between Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey, Trey Hill, Josh Myers. Yeah, go get you a center if you in the market. Richard LeCount III, also in here. Trey McKitty, a dude that I really love watching the Senior Bowl. I don't know what it's going to take for Kirby Smart to wise up and start throwing these monsters at tight end the football. But you got Darnell Washington. You had Trey McKitty. You trying to recruit Eric Gilbert. Throw them boys the ball. I'm tired of this, man. You saw Isaac Nada over there. Y'all didn't do nothing with that man. Throw these men the ball. Goodness me. Azeez Ojulari, yeah, that might be the best dude coming out of Georgia this year at outside backer. Monty Rice, a captain for Georgia, decided to sit out the Peach Bowl. That's something else that I would want an answer as to why. I would want to know why, right? Eric Stokes, great cornerback prospect. And Mark Webb, of course, also a great cornerback. You got 3 really great corners coming out of Georgia. Let's take a look at Notre Dame and see if they have earned the moniker of OLU, because I know some of y'all really believe in Notre Dame. Okay, so we got Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle. Okay, we got Robert Hainsey, offensive tackle. Okay, we got Dalen Hayes, defensive end. We got Tommy Kramer, offensive guard. So that's 3 offensive linemen of a starting 5, really, for Notre Dame coming out. Javon McKinley going out at wide receiver. That's interesting, right? Because that's a dude they moved around a bunch. I wonder what he could do, because he fits into that sort of Antonio Gibson sort of player for me. You can move him to wide receiver, you can move him to running back. He can play a little slot for you. Oh, man. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa is my favorite dude that nobody really talking about. I don't think he should have won the Butkus Award. I think that should have been to Zaven Collins. But I love the Woo Assassin. The Wu Assassin is a heat-seeking missile. Like, the Wu Assassin, for me, plays inside linebacker for them because he's big enough, but, like, that's a Cam Chancellor type. Put that dude as a box safety. Let him see if he can run with dudes in the slot or in tight end, put him there because he going to bring the wood, okay? He going to hit you with this Kamehameha. Like, that's what it's going to be. I can't, man. Somebody draft the Wu Assassin and let that man seek out whom he may destroy, okay? Because you could make it Cam Chancellor, you can make it Roquan Smith. It's all about fit and scheme there, right? I love me some Wu Assassin. Ben Skronik, they got him at wide receiver, but that was an oversized wide receiver. That was a tight end. That's like Kyle Pitts out there playing wide receiver, right? Tommy Tremble coming out of tight end, at tight end. Aaron Banks, so that's 4. That's 4 Notre Dame offensive linemen going into this thing among 11 Notre Dame players that are eligible for the draft. Ian Book, again, sleeper. That dude could be your Russell Wilson type. That could be your 4th round selection. That could be your Dak Prescott, okay? That could be who you're looking at. Because we look around this league, and we're real hit or miss when we talk about the number 1, number 2 quarterbacks, right? We real hit or miss there. You could get a great quarterback later in the rounds. You could also get stuck with Jake Fromm. Just put it out there. That's what I'm putting it out there, all right? What other school that I want to take a look at since we are here? Let's take a look at Florida. Let's look at what Florida's doing. All right, Florida. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a bunch of skill players, but, you know, skill players are nice. I love 2 of them. We'll talk about which ones I love. All right, so we got Sean Davis coming out at safety. All right, we got Stone Forsythe coming out at offensive tackle. We got Trayvon Grimes transferring from Ohio State to Florida, who's coming out at wide receiver. All right. We got Josh Kando coming out defense. Oh, that's Florida State. That's not Florida. Man, Evan McPherson got an NFL scouting combine invite? Yo, dog. Didn't Evan McPherson, dude, he missed the game winner against LSU in the LSU game? I'd ask him about it. It's a thing that I would bring up. I'd bring it up, right? I mean, we got Kyle Pitts, who going in as a tight end, but I think as a wide receiver. Draft him as a wide receiver, or draft him as highly as you would a wide receiver, because that dude is a monster. If he doesn't fit your scheme is wrong. He is a monster. Kyle Pitts is a dude who was being begged to play quarterback in high school, and he said, I'm a tight end. And he was so mad that they were not going to let him play tight end and force him to play quarterback that he went to his mama and said, I want to transfer. And when he went to transfer, they said, what's up? What you want to do? Said, I want to be a tight end. Don't make me no cornerback. And he said, dude, as long as you play both ways, play defensive end, play tight end, you can do whatever you want. And that's how it went down. Ends up at Florida. I like Kyle Pitts. We got TJ Slaton, okay. Kadarius Toney, y'all know what that is. Like, Kadarius Toney is getting that same Tyreek Hill type of treatment. But I feel like the folks that are talking about Kadarius Toney need to be talking about Rondale Moore. Because y'all must have forgot, like on some Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot. Yeah, you gonna make me say that? A sucker move I stole from a Gamecock. Y'all must have forgot. Like, that's Rondale Moore. Y'all forget that Rondale Moore led the Boilermakers in running a train over the top of Ohio State's dead body in 2018. Basically, single-handedly kept them from making a college football playoff. I'm just saying. Kadarius Toney couldn't be bothered to try to go at Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And then Kyle Trask, dude that got in the Senior Bowl invite, accepted the Senior Bowl invite in November, then decided to just skip out on the Senior Bowl. I don't understand. Like, you ain't got to play. Najee Harris didn't play. Devontae Smith didn't play. There's a bunch of dudes didn't play. You can show up. It don't cost you nothing to go through meetings. You going to be a pro, be a pro. So those are Marco Wilson. Marco Wilson went in. I forgot Marco Wilson declared for the NFL draft. And you know what? Good on him, because he got a scouting combine invite, one of 323. But Marco was the dude that actually threw the shoe in the LSU game and basically allowed LSU the opportunity to win with just 55 scholarship players in the swamp and a true freshman quarterback making his first start. Marco, that's you. That's you, Marco. I can't wait to hear what questions Marco gets asked. He might have to plead the polo. Marco, did you polo? And then a couple of guys that I'm excited got NFL Draft Combine invites. Puka Williams Jr., a guy that played for Kansas, and playing for Kansas is not a great way to, make the world understand that you're great, but nobody loved beating up on Oklahoma more than Puka Williams Jr. did. Went for like 252 on like 12 carries a couple years ago. Also in there, Kenny Yeboah, who I really love, who transferred from Temple to Mississippi. And like Matt Rule, coach Kenny Yeboah at Temple. Quincy Roche is another one of those dudes I'm really excited about. Milton Williams coming out of La Tech. I like that too. A couple other dudes that I want to see what they test like. I mean, like everybody else, I want to see at 40. Like, I'm going to stand up right quick in defense of the 40-yard dash and in defense of those that like it. I like knowing how fast you can run 40 yards in a straight line. I care. I want to know, all right? I don't think there's any shame in that. Yo, man, to ask a football person how many times you go have to run 40 yards straight down. Well, maybe never. But I still want to know because it's one of the ways in which we can make that thing kind of real to us. Don't nobody care how far you could broad jump. We can't put that away. That dude broad jumped 11 feet. I don't care what's his 40 time. How many times can he put up 225? I'm a regular person, okay? Talk to me about cone drills. You know, don't talk to me about running a gauntlet. No, talk to me about the stuff that we know about. We know 100-meter speed. We know 40-yard speed. Why are they making this difficult? Football people trying to make football tougher than it is. Good grief, man. All right, let me see. Is there anything else I want to discuss here while we were here? Nah, I gave y'all 20 minutes. That's 2 segments. All right, that's it for me. Doses.